Okay, then. Well, good morning, everybody. It is a Thursday morning. It's like it's my Friday. It's a great day to be alive. It is a great day to be on top of the ground, and the ground's not on top of you. So, can we get an amen for that one? Because last night, somebody took their last breath, and today, somebody will take their last. So, count yourself blessed if you're not in either one of those categories. It is time to rise and shine. Get up. It's another day above ground, where the ground's not above you.
We change the world and history right here where we're from. It's new beginning to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done. I appreciate that.
And good morning, everybody. Hope this day finds all of you doing well. You know what time it is? It's time for our daily bread. Lord knows we need some daily bread. Whew, America's in a conflict this morning. But never mind, I got the answers. Okay. Well, I may not have the answers, but I have a perspective. That's where I want to put it. Got a perspective on it, which is probably going to be different than most people's, but that's okay. My brain don't work like everybody else's brain anyway. Anyway, good morning to you. It is time for our daily bread. I'm Kevin Elkins, and this is Decisions. We call it that because everything we do requires us to make one. And even if we don't make one, well, we just made one. So good morning to you. It is a great day, an outstanding day, a stupendous day to be alive. Next up, it's our daily bread, a word from on high, something to get your day started, maybe to change your perspective. Either way, it's good for the soul. We'll be back.
Through valleys deep and mountains high, your faith a beacon in the sky. Every trial with lessons wrapped tight in every
Thanks for joining us for Our Daily Bread. Your host is Les Lamborn.
The way to accomplish much for Christ is to serve Him in any way we can. David Roper has written today's meditation titled The Hidden Life. Some years ago, I came across a poem by George MacDonald titled The Hidden Life. It tells the story of an intellectually gifted young Scot who turned his back on a prestigious academic career to return to his aging father and to the family farm. There he engaged in what MacDonald called ordinary deeds and simple forms of human helpfulness. His friends lamented what they saw as a waste of his talents. Perhaps you too serve in some unnoticed place, doing nothing more than ordinary deeds. Others might think that's a waste, but God wastes nothing. Every act of love rendered for His sake is noted and has eternal consequences. Every place, no matter how small, is holy ground. Influence is more than lofty acts and words. It can be a simple matter of human helpfulness, being present, listening, understanding the need, loving and praying. That's what turns daily duty into worship and service. The Apostle Paul challenged the Colossians in Colossians chapter 3, verse 17 and verses 23 and 24. Whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, and do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance. God takes notice and delights in using us. Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 through 22 instructs us on how we ought to live life every day. I'll read from Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 through 22. Therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, even as Christ forgave you, so you also must do. But above all these things put on love, which is the bond of perfection. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you were called in one body, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. And whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through Him. Wives, submit to your own husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be bitter toward them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing to the Lord. Fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. Bondservants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men-pleasers, but in sincerity of heart, fearing God. And as you think about today's meditation, remember, the way to accomplish much for Christ is to serve Him in any way we can. My name is Les Lamborn. If you've enjoyed today's reading, we'd encourage you to tell others about this ministry. You can also check out odb.org for other resources. Look under the Resource tab for more help like Christian courses, which cover a wide variety of subjects. And if you'd like to learn more about the Bible, please check them out at ChristianCourses.com. That's ChristianCourses.com.
Hello, thanks for joining us for Our Daily Bread. Your host is Les.
Time to rise and shine. Okay. Now somebody says I just recognized that you haven't done the fitness run. Well, I'll start that next week if the good Lord allows me to see it. Yeah, I'm still trying to get over the turkey and dressing and stuff for Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. Actually, the turkey and dressing was actually pretty good, but everything else kind of sucked. Anyway, good morning to you. Now you know it's my last day of the week, so I always play a fitting motivational speech or something that'll kind of uh, motivate you to do something. And today is no different. Um, and this always comes up because it is always with us. It is called the power of words. And we as human beings, we're the only group, we're the only species in the universe, the only species in the universe that can change our fortunes by changing our attitudes. That attitude, of course, is sent forth by the words we speak. And so this is this I like this one. I know I play it often, but you can listen. Have you seen the way people talk these days? And we got a lot of things to get to today. So let me get this. What happened with ICE? I watched the ICE incident in Minnesota from three different perspectives. And I have to tell you, now, when I first saw it, I was shocked like everybody else was. But then when I saw the last perspective of it, listen, I don't like it. I don't like the way ICE is doing all this stuff. But that woman ran into that officer and he was hanging on to the hood. And so, I'll show you that perspective because everybody, everybody's opinion is based on what they think they saw. Well, what we think we saw and what we actually saw is it's different. But I'll show you that perspective this morning. But it was an interesting thing. I don't like the way we're doing this ICE thing, but you know what? If you even attempt to run over a police officer, whether it's an ICE officer, a city police officer, a state patrol, whatever. I mean, there's going to be some consequence there. You know. Now, I mean, I don't like the way they cuss at our citizens. Get the f out the car and all that stuff. Yeah, come on. Talk to us. But there's a lot more to this story than most of you know. And then we got Tim Walz telling that he's going to call out the National Guard against ICE. Uh, yeah, that was going to be interesting to me. That's going to be interesting to me to see. Well, see, and this is wrong with Democrats right here. This is it, right? Where I don't believe it. I was just as shocked when I saw what happens to anybody else, but I also got a perspective that a lot of folks are not seeing on TV. It was sent to me that we all we do we believe who we believe, but science, video, it don't. I've been in one. Not that it really matters, but I've been one of the most outspoken people against this whole ICE thing, running around putting people in jail and stuff like. But listen, what I saw, I'm not saying anybody ever deserves to get killed, but you don't take a vehicle and run it into a law enforcement guy, whether you like him or not. You don't do that. And the guy was hanging on to the. I'm just telling you, it could have been worse than what it was. Okay, it could have been worse than what it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Right now, though, we are going to go to my special thing here, and it's called the power of word. Where we know who you're gonna listen. Don't make me call you bad names. I'm talking about the power of words right now. Okay, so don't make me violate my own perspective here. I'll show you. I will show you actually what happened. Okay, and that's the way life is. This is the same way life is. The way life looks depends on where you're sitting. Okay. No, no, no. She ran him over. She was about to run him over. She was about to run him over. But I got the video. I got the video that they're not showing on TV. Okay, I got it. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what happened. Okay. And I hate to say it, but if you try to run over a law enforcement agent, you're going to get shot. Okay. I mean, that's just what it is. Okay. And she did. And whether she meant to do it or not, I don't know. But she was doing, the guy was hanging on for his dear life. But I'll show you all that later on. Let me go to the power of words because it's important. And words matter. Words matter. So be careful of how we use our words when we communicate with other people. Okay. And I need to remind myself of that often. We'll be back.
Just about everybody that you encounter is often going through something that may not be obvious from the outside, but they're facing a battle on the inside. Everyone that you come across is facing some type of battle in their life. I hope that you'll embrace that you have no idea what God might do through a single word of encouragement. You have no idea how God could use you to offer someone hope, to build someone's faith. And I don't know about you, but there is so much negativity in the world today. I can't open up my social media feed without being discouraged. I can't read a news app without just being depressed. I can't talk to people with all the heartbreaking news in the world without being disheartened. And so many people in a polarized world can be so incredibly critical, so undeniably hateful. I think it's time that we as believers step in and lift others, bring words of hope, bring words of encouragement, because the words we speak are filled with power. Our words can build up, or our words can crush. In fact, Scripture says in Proverbs 18:21 that the tongue has the power of life and of death. I want my words to build your faith, to strengthen your confidence, to believe that God is for you, that He's with you, that He'll never leave you, He'll never forsake you. He's working in you. If it were up to me, I would encourage you and build your faith, because everyone, you see, is facing a battle that you don't know anything about.
The Scripture tells us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. That makes total sense. Because if you'll just take stop for 1 second and look back over your life, I guarantee you that every one of us in this room have got at least one instant in our life where we know we have seen the power of the tongue produce death. Death to relationships, death to jobs. How many people you know have been fired because of their mouth? How many marriages have been destroyed because of mouths, because of the tongue? So let's use our words to benefit us. Let's use our words to make the world around us better. Let's use our words to make our relationships better. Let's use our words to bring life to our marriage, life to our kids, life to our jobs, life to our minds, life to our families. Speak words that edify, speak words that build up, speak words that embrace, speak words that forgive, speak words that love, speak words that heal.
Words are full of power. They can heal, they can wound, they can minister death, they can minister life, they can encourage, they can discourage, they can build up, they can tear down. People get divorces over words. Families are split apart over words. People lose jobs over words. People have insecurity and a poor self-image over words that have been spoken to them. Words are containers for power, and we need to choose our words very carefully, and it's time for us to step up to the plate and be accountable for the words that we allow to come out of our mouth. No man can tame the tongue. We need God's help. So you want to pray every day for God to help you with your mouth.
We are constantly speaking words, and even a few can have the power of life and death. Now, some of you know this because you grew up in homes where a few words spoken to you had power of life or had power of death. And you can remember those words, just 3 or 4 words that maybe a parent, a teacher, a sibling, a friend, a coach said to you. and it either brought some life or it brought some death into your world.
One of the best things you can do for your relationships, if you're married, if you have children, if you're a leader or an influencer at work, if you have someone in your small group, is to bless them with words of encouragement. Set the blessing free. You encourage what you want to see, and you typically see more of it. If it were up to me, I would be so encouraging. If you think something good, say it. If you think something good, say it. In a world full of so much criticism, so much hatred, so much disappointment, so much negativity, as people of the light, we'll lift up others around us.
So Genesis 1, the Bible tells us the earth was formless, it was empty, or it was void. And it says that darkness was over the surface of the deep. So there was just nothing. There was nothing. And then verse 3, here's what we read. And God said. Maybe your translation says, and God spoke. So God speaks into the nothingness. He speaks into the darkness, and he says, let there be light, and there was light. And so at the very beginning of time, God creates the universe, but how does he do it? What tool does he use? He uses words. He speaks the universe into existence. God says, and it is. And we see this throughout the creation account. God said, and it happened. He speaks it. And so God uses words to bring about life and light. God uses words to build up, to create. He speaks into darkness, and he says light, and lights come on. And so we see from the beginning the power of words, that words are the tool that God uses. Flip over a couple chapters, Genesis 3. And in this passage, we see that words have the power of death. And so this is the passage of Scripture where sin enters into the world. God has created man and woman. He said that it's very good. Now Satan comes on the scene in the form of a serpent. And verse 1 tells us that the serpent was clever, more clever, in fact, than any wild animal God had made. And what did he do? He spoke. He spoke to the woman, and he said, do I understand that God told you? So he speaks, and when he speaks, he attacks what God has said. And do I understand that God told you not to eat from any tree in the garden? And then he would go on to say, hey, God didn't really say that. And so what does the enemy use? The enemy uses words to bring death to where there was life, and to bring darkness to where there was light. Now here's what's interesting, of course, is that the serpent's words were not true, but that didn't keep his words from having power, right? Like the moment Adam and Eve speak the words in their own hearts, the moment they believe those words, they give life to them. They empower them. So God speaks, the serpent speaks, and we just see from the beginning there's the power of life, there's the power of death. God speaks and he creates and he builds and he blesses. The enemy speaks and he tempts and he accuses, he deceives, he destroys. It's hardwired into the universe, the power of words. Am I speaking life, or am I speaking death into the world around me?
You know, it's so amazing, the power of this tongue. In James chapter 3, he illustrates it this way. In verse 3, he says, when you put bits into the mouth of horses to make them obey, you can turn the whole animal. He goes, or take ships as an example. Though they're large and driven by strong winds, they're steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot wants to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole person. It sets the whole course of his life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. My tongue right now could be set on fire by hell. What does he mean by that? That Satan himself could influence what I have to say. The words coming out of his mouth could come straight from hell itself. And any time I use this mouth to tear someone down, guess who's in control of my tongue at that minute? Hell. Anytime I use this mouth to do anything but bring glory to God, who's using this? When I'm bringing glory to myself, who's using this? It's Satan. He's got control of it. You and I, we have the ability to have our tongue set on fire by hell to say things that will actually pull people away from God. It's a dangerous thing. That's what this passage is about. It's like, do you know how powerful you are? And in verse 9, he says, and with this tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse men who've been made in God's likeness. And what this verse says is, can't praise God with your mouth and also curse men, and then he says, who have been made in the likeness of God. And what this passage is saying is, do I ever have a right to curse anyone that was made in the image of God? And I don't want God seeing me on this earth cursing someone that he loves. It's about love. You don't have a right to hate anyone that God created. And use this mouth to curse anyone that God wants saved. I mean, really, the heart of God is Romans 5:8, of that while we were sinners, that God demonstrated his love for us and Christ died for us. Not because we were so lovable, but he looks down and goes, wow, these people are rebelling against me, but I love them, and I love them so much that I'm going to pursue them. It's not about God looking down and going, man, look at them rebel against me, I'm going to curse them. No, instead I'm going to send my son down and show love to them and save them. And in the same way, as a reflection of Jesus Christ, I'm supposed to look at those who are antagonistic toward God and love them and pursue them and save them and pray for them, but not curse them. He uses this idea of, he says, out of the same mouth, verse 10, out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers, this should not be. He goes, you can't use this mouth to praise and curse. Understand, when we became a believer, we said, God, here's my tongue. And then every once in a while, I'll go, wait, God, let me get my tongue back for a second. Let me use it. I'm going to let Satan borrow it for a little bit. Here, Satan, go ahead. Okay, use my tongue now. Let me gossip. Let me say some things that aren't true. Let me slander some people. Let me put some people down. Let me, do this, do that with this tongue. And then we come back, okay, God, I'm done with it. You can have it back. You just gave that to Satan to borrow for a little bit, and then you give it back to me and you take it back. He goes, you can't let us both use this tongue. Man, whose is it? Out of the same mouth, you can't have blessing and cursing. Why do blessing and cursing come out of your mouth? Because there's blessing and cursing in your heart. You need a new heart. You need God to change who you are. This message is not about biting your tongue and offering lip service. I need you to change my heart. I don't want anything to come out of this mouth that doesn't honor you. This tongue was created by God. God made it. Colossians 1:16 says all things were created by him and for him. Why did God make this tongue? To praise him.
I really believe that we open doors for the enemy through complaining. God gave us our mouth for one reason, and that's to glorify him. You have a mouth to glorify God. Amen? And that's what we need to use it for. I think so often we talk more about what the enemy's doing than we do about what God's doing. We don't need to talk fear. We need to talk faith. Why? Because our words are powerful. Our words are containers for power. Your words can carry your faith to the kingdom of God and release angels to help you, or your words can carry your fear to the kingdom of darkness and just release more trouble in your life.
And what would happen if certain words that we spoke to people, they would just show up on that person, and they were just always there? We would be careful with the words we spoke because we wouldn't take them lightly. We would understand the impact that they had, that they don't just go away. And the Bible helps us understand that our words have that kind of power. And most of us could probably give some examples of words that were spoken to us that have been tattooed on us in some way or another. And they were spoken perhaps impulsively or carelessly or thoughtlessly. The Bible says, Proverbs 12:18, the words of the reckless, the words of the thoughtless, the words of the careless pierce like swords. They do more damage than we realize, but the tongue of the wise does what? It brings healing. And so, with our mouth, we can destroy, or with our mouth, we can heal, we can bring life. That through Jesus, he can speak life where there is death. He can speak light into darkness. His word is more powerful than any other word. Any word that you've said to yourself, any word that's been spoken to you, his word overrides that. And so we listen to his word, and we speak his word, and then we believe his word, and then we watch and we see what God does.
The power of words.
Just about everybody that you encounter.
We got it now. We got it. Good. The power of words. They certainly do have a lot of power. Anyway, good morning to you. Hope that they find everybody well. I know the biggest thing right now is in America. Of course, now there's something happened in Montgomery yesterday too. Somebody shot down at the courthouse. I mean, it's getting so bad right now. We're going down to the courthouse shooting people. I just, whoo. Then somebody got on Tuberville the other day. Tuberville says, well, yeah, I'll call out the National Guard in Montgomery. Listen, and what happened the other day didn't pretty much strengthen his resolve. I don't know what we can do about all this gun violence. I don't have a clue. I guess everybody got to carry a gun now. So you hope you shoot that guy before he shoots you. I mean, there's just something we need to modify the Second Amendment. But here's the question: you modify the Second Amendment, and then what happens? Only people who don't adhere to the modification, then they turn around and be the big cheese in town because everybody got you don't have a gun, and he do. So, Lord, I don't know what's going on in our nation right now. The personality of Montgomery has changed. The personality of America is changing. And I can't say that it is necessarily for the best. I don't know. But anyway, and I know everybody's wondering about what happened yesterday in Minnesota. We're trying. And listen, again, it is never good when a citizen dies at the hands of any law enforcement in America. It is never good. And somebody sent me a video last night of this thing, and I'm looking for it on my thing because at first I didn't believe it, then I saw it again. Anyway, let's go look at some of this. If any time the police say get out the car, and you don't get out the car and you back up to leave. First of all, that's called what I don't know exactly what they call that. And again, I'm a guy who's not necessarily in agreement with the president and the whole process of ICE. I know we need them. I know we need them, but I'm not in this whole thing of where we just go around arresting people. And then there's Tim Walz, of course, who pretty much told us that he's going to call out the National Guard on ICE. Now, listen, I don't really know how that's going to work out. I don't know how that's going to, I don't know how that one's going to work out. But Tim Walz seems that now he can't stop all them people from stealing all that money, but now he can get on TV talking about bringing out the National Guard, another military unit on ICE, but he can't stop them folks up there from stealing all that money. Okay, but that's okay. At least he got some balls about something. That's good. At least he'll stand for something. But I'm looking for the picture. If somebody can show, because I'm looking for the oh man, this thing is not going the way that it's being portrayed in a way that it wasn't. There was a ICE agent on the hood of the car that they're not showing you that perspective, and she was steadily moving. She was spelling, and he was hanging on so he didn't get drugged by the car. Okay, so the minute the police tell you to get out the car or shut the car door or whatever the case may be, you need to do that. You know, you just need to you need to do that, and stop making a hero out of somebody that actually could that could this never had to happen. Just get out the car. And then it's my understanding that she evidently was following ICE in many places where they were. Again, I can only go on what they have told us, but let me see if we can see what old Gov has to say right now. Okay, where is it? Where's Walls at? There he is, right there. Okay, there he is. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Do I got him up there? Da-da-da. Okay, well, I can't. Oh, there we go. There we go.
From the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be.
Okay, so he is going to call out the National Guard on the ICE people. So we're gonna have another civil war, the states against the federal government, which may not be a bad idea sometimes. But let me finish his thing there. Then we'll get on the other things. But I just thought this was important. So let's go back to him.
Be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary.
All right. So I guess he's just gonna, I guess he's just gonna put his folks out against ICE, and and I'm gonna sit back with some popcorn and see how this is gonna work out. I think, listen, is that David going against Goliath? I don't know. But again, I'm not for the way we're doing it. I understand why it's being done, why the whole illegal alien thing is understand, because that's people were crying about it and whining about it for a couple of years now. And so the president decided to do something about it. And that's what they voted for. But what happened yesterday though was partially that woman's fault. Okay, it was partly her fault. You if you're asked to get out the car, you get out the car. Okay. Yes, they were. And see, you haven't seen it either. You have not seen what happened. I saw it. And as soon as I can find the video that they gave us, and it's not AI. There was an officer that was in front of that vehicle, and she took off going forward with him still being in front of the vehicle. Okay. Now, of course, I realize that you're watching probably CNN or MSNBC. So we are going to, as soon as I can find, somebody sent it to me last night, but I didn't really pay it much attention. But all I know is I was laying across the bed watching it, and I stood up in the bed. I said, "Wow, she did that!" So as soon as I find it, I am going to show you guys. I've just got to find it. Okay, because when he shot at her, I was absolutely surprised. Absolutely surprised that he did that at that closer range. But evidently, I'll find it. I'll get it. I'll find it, because nobody's going to believe it until they see it. And so I'm going to find it sometime today, and I'll put it on the show. But there was an officer in front of that car when she took off. Okay, there was somebody in front of the car. Of course, nobody is going to on the side that's against ICE is going to show you that version of it. Okay. No, it's going to show it, because that does not fit the narrative. And listen, again, I'm against what they're doing. At least the way they're doing it. I'm not against what they're doing. I'm against the way they're doing it. Showing up here, showing up there, and want to throw people in jail who just trying to make a living. I don't like that at all. Okay, like I don't like the Maduro thing either. It goes against what we see. We say we stand. But there was a she did almost run a guy over. I mean, run him over. She did. Yes, Don.
It's amazing how the hate of Willie Durham against Trump messes his whole vision of anything. There was no one hanging out. The woman was following these people around all day long, blocking the road. When she blocked the road, they went up to pull her out of the car. One guy was at the door.
Right.
She backed up, and then she started forward. Mm-hmm. There was an agent right in front of her path.
It was.
He fired. The bullet went straight through the windshield. It didn't come in from the side. She actually hit the guy.
Yeah, I saw him leaning
now,
up.
Willie, do you hate him so damn much? I thought you were all for cops during January 6th. But anything else? No. Willie, you're so full of it. It just makes me want to puke.
All right, then. Well, everybody's got their opinion. And as long as, again, though, I will admit to you, I was surprised, but there was an officer in front of the car. Okay, there was one there. And so, I mean, you can't blame them for trying to protect their officer. You can't blame them for that. Again, she just surprised me by actually taking off. she really did. I said, well, okay. And evidently, like I said, she had been following them around, but okay. So she bags up. As a matter of fact, tell you what to do. I tell you what I'm going to do. Let me stop this right here for you. Let you guys look at this. I do have some of it right here. And there was an officer in front of her. Okay. And here we go. Let me show you this so y'all can, stop that screen right there, put that screen right there, and share the view right there. Okay. And not that one right there. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to show you guys and I'm going to try to do it frame by frame, but she actually really did. There was somebody in front of the car.
Was justified. We're going to look at the
Okay, so now pay close attention.
Two angles available right now and deep dive into what happened here. On this very first frame, we see this vehicle in the middle of the road with its tires facing left. Now watch what happens as this car goes around her. The car moves up. This tells me, and I'm speculating, that this woman is trying to block the road from ICE vehicles. We've seen people do this over and over. This prompts the ICE agents to get out to arrest the woman.
Now, you see that guy right there? That guy right there was in front of it. He was in front of the car. Okay. Now let me go back. He was in front. There was somebody in front of the car. She had a car.
No, shit.
Okay, see right there. You see the guy in front of the car right there? Anybody see the guy? Okay. There was somebody in front of the car. Now watch closely. Watch closely. See the guy over there? Okay, there. Anyway, there's a guy. Let me pull that back around one more time so you can actually see the guy in front of the car that she almost ran him over. Let me just show you this right now. Okay. Okay. If you look right there, there's a man right there in front of the car. See right there? Okay. So, and that's why she got shot.
What you do?
The woman driving was killed.
So anyway, so that's why she got shot. Okay. She put the officer's life in danger. That's why she got shot. She didn't get shot because she was just driving away. No, she got shot because the officer was in front of that car. And again, I don't like the way they do the things they do. I certainly don't. But listen, let me tell you something. The one thing the police never got to worry, if the police ever shoot me, say I was running away, y'all just know they lying. I'm stopping. Okay, I'm stopping. I'm not going to get in the car, pull the car off even more. So depending on whose television stations you're looking at, well, this is an actual video. And there's another video that's out that shows it in front of the car. So there was an officer in front of her. Okay, there was an officer in front of her. Okay, no one on the, when he was, if you look at the front of the car, and I'll see if I can get that video later. If you look in the front, he was hanging on for a second, trying not to be moved. Yeah. What? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm. Hate, revenge, and lies rule this world. But anyway, and as soon as I can get the other video, I'll show it to you because I couldn't believe what I saw. So there was the deal is he was in front of that vehicle. So therefore, okay, you don't move the vehicle headed toward an officer, whether he's hanging on the hood or in front of the car. You don't do that. Okay, what you think would happen to you if you're in Montgomery, Alabama, and you mess around and the police stop you and you mess around and head with a car toward them? Okay, no. He has a right to stop the car, Joe. It's a process, right? You're an attorney. I mean, it's a process. If they tell you to get out the car, then you get out the car. Oh, she didn't see the guy. Well, then it sucks to be her. Because she's been following them all day long, okay, trying to stop things. I understand her pain on seeing people taken to jail, put in strip ties. I didn't like that at all, okay? But again, yeah, you can stand in front of the car to make sure she doesn't move. Because first of all, you're not supposed to move if an officer is in front of you. You're certainly not supposed to go toward them with a vehicle, okay? Listen, let's be smart, not be stupid. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he's charged. If somebody's life was in danger, that's like two soldiers someplace, and the enemy finna shoot you. We think I'm gonna let the enemy shoot you? And I got a gun too? Of course not. Well, we'll see if the officer's charged or not. But again, we know that you do not stand in front of a police car when they tell you to get out the car. And again, here's a question I would ask. I think there's the word common sense and reason, it has got lost in the vernacular of our language, but let me see if I can pull it out of its grave for a second. What would a reasonable person do if they were confronted with one of their people getting hit by a car? What would a reasonable person do? Okay, and he may go to trial, but I'm telling you, the guy's not going to jail for this one. Okay, and again, as soon as I find the forward video, I'll show that to you, where the guy was dangling on the hood. Okay,
instead of getting
he was. But anyway, so again, what would a reasonable person in that position do? One more time, and then we go on to something else.
You've no doubt heard about the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. There's going to be a lot of debate over whether that shot was justified. We're going to look at the two angles available right now and deep dive into what happened here. On this very first frame, we see this vehicle in the middle of the road with its tires facing left. Now watch what happens as this car goes around her. The car moves up. This tells me, and I'm speculating, that this woman is trying to block the road from ICE vehicles. We've seen people do this over and over. This prompts the ICE agents to get out to arrest the woman.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my God! What the? What the? You just? What the? You do?
The woman driving was killed.
Yeah, I bet you. But anyway, again, I'm not. Hold on for a minute. Let me get you on the. On people can hear what you're saying. Okay, let me see. Hold on a second. Hold on, because I don't want to miss any of this. I know this is gonna be good, so I'm going to. I want to hear this. Hold on, wait. Give me a second. I'm gonna share the screen. I gotta put you on there. Share this. All the things I gotta do to make the show run. Give me a second. Okay. Now go ahead.
Sergeant Elkins.
Yes, sir.
You know, 5 years ago, January 6th, when a Capitol police officer was defending the Capitol and shot the lady that entered the building, did we support that officer?
Yeah.
No. You specifically, Kevin, said that he should not have shot her.
She was unarmed, but I understood. Wait a minute. But I did say, now let's get it straight. I said, I can't blame him for doing his job because his job was to protect the property. But did he have to kill a woman with no weapon? Yeah. And I spoke to that question.
Okay. Did he have to kill a woman with no weapon? Did they have to kill a woman that was fleeing or driving off? Could they not have pursued her? Kevin, she was not a threat to that officer. It's just amazing how we are selective in when we choose to defend the blue.
Wait a minute. The car was the car was the threat. She almost ran
now,
the officer.
You showing that Fox or wherever you got that feed from. I listen to multiple sources and watch multiple sources. So Don can say what he want to say. You can believe your lying eyes, or you can believe what someone's telling you.
Did you not see the guy in front of the car?
Kevin, I saw the guy on the front and then the side. The officers that was pulling the door probably was more of a threat than the other person. And nobody drew their weapon but that person. And multiple police, especially people that's been in this industry for 40 years, all said that was a bad shooting.
Well, again, everybody's getting different videos. I got a couple of different ones, but the officer was in front of that car. If there's an officer in front of that car, you should not move that car forward.
Now, but this is the only thing that I'll say, and I'll hop off, is we're selective when we choose to defend a shooting. Kevin, most of your people will say on January 6th, that officer that defended those congressmen, you said she was not a threat. And they didn't defend that guy on January 6th, 5 years ago. Most of your Don and group did not defend that officer.
Well,
but they're defending this one. And this is what I say, Kevin. If you listen to the video, there was a physician on the scene said, let me go and render aid. They didn't even try to save this lady.
Now that would be that would be.
They cursed and yelled at the people and said, we got paramedics coming. They said it was 15 minutes before anybody. And then they had them blocked and they wouldn't even let them in. They had to carry her limp body. They didn't even have a stretcher to put her on. Kevin, and the physician was right there, says, I'm a physician, let me go. They yelled and told that man to get the hell back. Just their whole arrogant attitude. And
I agree with that. I agree with that part right there. I agree there. But again, if in Montgomery police stop you and you pull away from them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one of they can shoot you.
But again, did they support the officer on January 6th at the Capitol?
Well, I think you had to support his position because he he was there to protect the property, but did he have to kill an unarmed woman? That's one that it's distasteful. I didn't like it, and it was a woman. But did he do his job? Yes, he did.
Thanks for taking the call, sir.
Okay, he protected what he thought was a gross error, and people trying to get in. I agree with it, but Miss Babbitt, she didn't deserve to die either. Just with no weapon but a bag. I don't know, but this woman, that car was the weapon. But we'll see. We'll all see how it goes. We'll all see how it goes. Let's see. We'd say God is not dead. You will reap what you sow, and that's all of us. Okay. And again, he pulled his gun when she started toward her. Well, again, she shouldn't have took off. She shouldn't have took off. She should have just sat there, because I don't know how many black folks been killed for doing less than that. Okay, less than that. I got a friend of mine named Dennis Latham in Millbrook. A couple years ago, the police stopped him. He don't know how lucky he is to be alive, because they could have waxed him right then and there. Dennis, I said, Dennis, you don't pull away when the officer's in front of your car. Okay. But anyway, and I hope one of these days we get. I'll see if I can actually get the vehicle, the film that somebody sent me. It shows the officers hanging onto the hood. Okay. But again, it shocked me that he shot her. It shocked me. That kind of shocked me, but I don't think that the governor of Minnesota has got the gonads to call out the National Guard against ICE. I just don't. I'm gonna sit back and watch this though. I don't think he has the gonads to do that. Okay, but we'll see. We'll see. And listen, this is going to be talked about for years. He will be charged in state court. And listen, this got nothing to do with Trump, bro. This got nothing to do with Trump. I'm against ICE doing things the way they're doing. I'm not against them for doing their job, but I am against them for the way we are doing this whole. I say, listen, if you're in a traffic stop and they stop you and you're not a legal citizen of America, then hey, take you to jail, whatever they got to do with you. But to maliciously, and so I'm really conflicted. To maliciously go around and find people that you feel are illegally here or maybe illegally here, but right now all they're doing is just working. They're just working, And so, and isn't that what America's all about? Just having an opportunity. But according to some people, there's a way to get it done. But I think both sides are wrong here. I think ICE is wrong, but they follow orders from Kristi Noem and from the President of the United States. Like any other soldier. They almost got to be soldiers now. Like any other soldier, you have sworn to take, the orders of the people appointed above you, and so they're doing their job. Okay, and I would imagine that a lot of them don't like it, but that's what they do. See, I got a text that says, "I'm not a cop." Let me see here now. Make sure I get this right, because I want to make sure I get this totally right. I'm not a cop, but if you're trying to run me over, okay, attack with a deadly weapon, which is a car, I would defend myself with my sidearm. And again, I think when it's all said and done, mayor's office said he doesn't have anything open Wednesday. Would you like to try for Tuesday or Thursday? Okay, let's go Tuesday. I got to talk. I got to get the mayors in here next week. So I'm making appointments at the same time. So that's what we're doing. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so the number's here. If you want to give us a call, feel free to do that. And that number is 521-2963. And there are a lot of other things going on. People getting mad at Tuberville for he's saying that, yeah, he'll call up the National Guard. Well, it looks like we might need the National Guard in this city. Who got killed? Who got shot yesterday? A couple of days ago, four people get shot. I mean, we need somebody to do something. Evidently, if we don't have enough policemen to to police the city. It wouldn't bother me to see the National Guard. Used to be one. It don't bother me. Long as you can walk down the street, okay, with less of a possibility of somebody coming up behind you, hitting you in the head with a gun or shooting you for walking down the street. Now, let the city get a handle on some of this shooting stuff. And again, it's a tough job. But these guys run for these jobs. Our legislators, they run for these jobs. Election coming up, they run for these jobs. And then when they'll come up with an answer, they tell, well, ain't nothing I can do. Well, then here's my problem. If there's nothing you can do, why do we elect you? Or anybody? Whether it's Insler, whether it's Reed Ingram, whether it is who's my senator, whatever his name is, what's his name? He's a lawyer. Anyway, whether it's him, whether it's Kenyatta, whether it's Hatcher, whoever, if nobody or the women twins over there, if you can't do anything about anything, then why in God's name do you keep running for re-election? Give me somebody that can figure out how to get something done. Give me somebody. I'm getting so tired of hearing there's nothing we can do. Then hell, we might as well just close the mayor's office down, close the legislative seats down, and just keep the police. Let them just go at it how they know how. Because nobody is taking responsibility for the situation that we find ourselves in this city. Okay, nobody wants it. They're accountable. I didn't say they did it. I didn't say they're responsible for what's happening, but they are responsible to us because it is happening. Okay, I'm just saying, we got some issues in this, not just this one though. It's a cultural phenomenon all across America. And these guns, I say it is time to revamp the Second Amendment. I don't know. Do we really want to get fools walking around here with guns? As a matter of fact, the other day, I found out one of our schools, guy shows up with 2 pair of pants on. And guess what he got strapped to his leg? A gun. Okay. I'm not blaming anybody in the school system for that, but I am telling you, had there been nobody there to monitor these people, he'd have got through there. Okay, he'd have got through there. Maybe, hey, Camilla, maybe we need to deal with some of this red meat. Okay, maybe we need to deal with some of this red meat. Okay. Sending in the guard to get elected. Well, and what's wrong with that? If our policemen can't handle it, I'm not putting it against them. They just don't have a whole lot of policemen. But if they can't handle it, what are we supposed to do? Wait and see who can. It's supposed to be like Iraq, Iran, a place like that. So everybody's got to walk down the street now with their weapons to make sure that they can get home. So why not put the National Guard on the street? I don't bother me. I'll go and shake their hand, say thank you for being here. Okay, and let them work in conjunction with the police. The police, of course, having the civilian authority and not the National Guard. But however, what's wrong with that? Did you hear that I told you yesterday? Guy getting shot at the courthouse. Last week, 4 people shot. And I would imagine for the weeks out, we're going to get some more. Okay. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't care if they disown me or not. Logic and reason. There's no way in the world that our founding fathers wanted every dumbass in America to walk around with a gun. There's no way in the world they wanted anything like that. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm still caught up on that word militia. I'm still caught up on it. Okay. Let me see now. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Kevin? I could answer that question. Being a former National Guardsman and also a military police while I was a National Guardsman, because not everybody signed up for it. And what I mean by that, when you're the National Guards, if you didn't sign up to be a military police or a police officer, you're not. Your mind is not actually policing because you were not trained for it. That's the reason why you go to training, and it's more than just pulling out a gun and shooting it. It's pretty much being able to apply the law.
I was a National Guard too, and they did teach us crowd control. and how to.
Kevin.
Yeah, I did learn how to use a gun too. So I mean,
right. Well, that was part of combat. All of us were infantry first, and then IMOS second. But that was only against your enemies across seas or foreign, Kevin. You would never thought that you would have to actually.
Domestic.
You never would thought that you would be deployed on your own citizens.
But we got domestic enemies also.
Yes, you have domestic enemies, Kevin, but that's not the answer. The answer is parenting, Kevin. Okay. The answer is these laws that they're putting into place. Now, I agree with you on these gun laws, but the cities or the mayor can only apply the law according to what the state legislature put into place. And you can't go over that, because if not, you'll be in court and they would take, you would lose. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, he wanted to enforce, these weapon policies, but they went to court and they challenged it and said, if you want to change the laws, you got to start at the state legislature. Yeah, well, so he only could do.
But do you really believe that our founding fathers wanted people to walk around with weapons that shoot 100 bullets a minute, or whatever?
Oh, heck no.
Exactly.
Right, because back then they didn't have those weapons to do that. But you got these people that say, "Don't tread on me."
So we can we can modify our weapons, but we can't modify our laws.
It's their Second Amendment. They believe in the Second Amendment, but that Second Amendment was put in place in the late 17 or maybe the 1700s. And those laws wasn't meant for us because we were enslaved. We weren't supposed to have those weapons.
Yeah.
Well, so it's a whole lot of. Yeah, exactly, Kevin. So there's several factors in moving targets, no pun intended, when it comes to that and everything. But at the end of the day, you only can enforce the laws that you're allowed to, because if not, you're going to be challenged in court and you're going to lose every time. And I'm going to tell you how the law is going to change. And I thought it was going to change when that situation happened on Atlanta Highway with that Caucasian lady. Mm-hmm. If there was one or two too many shootings of the opposite race or community, I guarantee you they'll go back and revisit and put some things into place. But see, as long as it's not affecting their communities or what have you, and I'm just being straight up, because we got a super majority in the state house, and as long as it's not affecting their communities, they don't have any problems with it. But you better believe the minute that it starts, they're going to go and they're going to try to adjust and amend some of those bills that they got, and that's just where we are, Kevin. And my thing is, it's the parenting issue, it's education issue.
Well, I don't really care about that. Listen, I really don't care about the parenting issue. If you don't take care of your kids and parent, we need to put them in jail, lock them up, and do whatever we got to do.
Well,
I don't really care about the parenting issue.
I got to give Emory Former credit for that, because I'm old enough to remember when he tried that. And he was challenged on that, because he did start locking up parents, but they were saying, well, that's their grandparents. They don't have any control over the kids. That's unfair and that's unlawful, unconstitutional. So I agree with holding parents accountable.
Yeah, by the time you in the street raising havoc, killing people, shooting people, it's too late to talk about the parents. At that point, right. we hold you responsible. Well, it ain't no village. It ain't no village to take care of your child. It's you.
Kevin, yeah, exactly. And I'm going to tell you this now: the time to raise your children is not when they got mustaches and beards. You raise your kids when they come out the womb.
Yeah.
My kids, they were 18 months apart. We could take them everywhere and anywhere, the movies and all, because we didn't really trust babysitters that much. Mm. And we got compliments. We were sitting at a restaurant and somebody said, "How did you get your kids to be so mannerable and orderly and everything? And when did you start?" I said, "As soon as they came out the womb."
That's right.
And it takes parenting. It takes parenting to be able to do that, because if not, Kevin, those parents are going to be hurt, because those kids going to either be in jail or dead. And I'm old enough to qualify that statement.
All right.
But I want to say this, Kevin, please, let me say this and I get off. Someone was talking about, well, the other day they had a briefing talking about how crime went down and just minutes later, somebody was killed. Well, both can be true at the same time. The crime rate, the murder rate is down, and yes, somebody killed. And it's just like the pregnancy. They're talking about the birth rate in America is down. That could be true, but people are still having children. So both can be true at the same time. So, there's enough said about, well, crime's supposed to be down, but they're still killing and robbing it. Yes, but it's down, but people are still doing it. It doesn't mean that one is not true. So I just wanted to put that out there, Kevin.
All right, appreciate it. Just got some more news. Let me see. We got a KK Middleton. Remember, anybody know who KK Middleton is? Well, KK Middleton is running for, let me see, is running for the Alabama State Senate. Well, I would trust him on Jamel. So let me see. Stop the screen right there. Let's put this one right here. KK Middleton. Now, if you don't know who KK Middleton, he's a local preacher. Let me see now. There he is right there. Okay, there he is right there. KK Middleton is running for, he said, today I am proud to announce my candidacy for the Alabama State Senate. I am running because Alabama families deserve leadership that puts people first. Now that's what we call a platitude right there. But I'm keep going. Not politics. Well, KK, you can't take politics out of politics. My priorities are dear and rooted in the everyday needs for our communities. Eliminate the grocery tax so families aren't taxed for feeding their children. Okay, now just remember this, KK. If you remove the tax off groceries, where are you going to put the tax? Because they're not going to give up the money. So what are we going to put the tax on to make up for the millions of dollars that are collected during on groceries? So where are we going to now explain that one to me, and I'm with you. But just let me know, because if I steal from Peter just to pay Paul, well, you still got to deal with Peter. Okay. Repeal the permitless carry law to help make our community safer. I'm with that one. But that doesn't deal with the issue of people, because people who want a gun, they're going to get one anyway. But that would be some relief. Fight for better pay for teachers, because our educators deserve respect, support, and fair compensation. Well, we already got a law on the books right now, KK. Already got a law on the books right now that tells us we can apply corporal punishment. But guess who applies corporal punishment in Montgomery? No one. Because all those women on that board said, we don't want to do that. But the law says you can do it. So now, unless you know somebody in the education process, good friends with Mackey, that probably ain't going to happen. Expand Medicaid to save hospitals, protect jobs, and ensure healthcare access across the state. I'm good with that one. They are not partisan issues. They are people issues. Alabama can do better. Okay, that's another platitude. And together, that's a platitude. We will. I ask for your prayers, your support, and your vote as we work to build a stronger, safer, and more affordable Alabama for everyone. That's another platitude. Okay, let's move. This is the biggest platitude of all. Let's move Alabama forward. Now, although I like KK Middleton. Yeah, now he's a good Democrat. He probably won't win that seat, but he's a good man. He's a good man. I like him. But here's the problem with platitudes. We've used them so much. Until we just don't even. They don't mean anything anymore. They don't mean anything. What is a platitude? It is a phrase that has been used so often, so much, that it has lost its significance when we hear it. And here's one: education. Education. That's the one that we just need to get rid of. Okay. Our kids need a good education. There's nobody out here that says our kids need a bad education. Okay. So that's what's wrong with platitudes. Okay. Yeah, I would. Yeah. They may disown me, but that's okay, Eric. I think we do need to modify it and say we need to modify it. We don't need every Tom, Dick, and Harry around here walking around with a gun. We just don't. Okay. We just don't. Another bigoted Democrat. Well, I don't know if KK's bigoted or not. He's a Democrat, and so he believes certain things that they believe. Because if he didn't, I don't guess he'd run as a Democrat. Okay. 100 bullets a minute. Well, whatever the case may be. Listen, if it's only 1 bullet per minute, if it's fired at me, I don't like it. Okay. We got social justice warriors preaching. Yeah, I hear you. But anyway, so did we figure out the woman in the car thing? That was her fault. That was her fault what happened to her. And I think if the guy does go to court, he gets off. You threaten the lives of officers, you're going to get shot. Okay, that's just the way it is. That's just the way you're gonna get shot. That's why when they get behind me and the blue lights come out, I hurry up and stop. Throw my hands up in the air like I just don't care. Okay, I mean I just don't do it not like that. I don't really do that. That sounds like a rap song. A man is critically injured in a shooting near Montgomery Courthouse on Madison Avenue. A man is in critical condition after being shot yesterday in the parking lot of Montgomery's Municipal Courthouse. A man is in critical condition after being shot Wednesday in the parking lot of Montgomery's Municipal Court, like I just said, according to Montgomery Police Chief. It's sad when you go to the courthouse and you get shot. A man is in critical condition after being shot. Okay, so in the 1,000 block of Madison Avenue. I mean, when the courthouse ain't even safe. I mean, we in some trouble. Lord have mercy. You can't even get safety at the courthouse where all the police living. New York Mayor Mandami. Now, here's a question that I am. Here's something that Mandami, whatever his name is, Ma'am Damney, whatever his name is in New York, came up with that I'm not totally against. His housing secretary has said that your home shouldn't really be yours. Well, it's not yours. Okay? It's not yours. Even after 30 years, I mean, a lady the other day was in the news. She lost her home. She had paid for the house, but because she was sick, she couldn't pay the taxes. They put her house, quote unquote, her house on the tax block, and somebody bought our house for $14,000. So it ain't your house. And so here's my question this morning before we get to other things. Is housing a constitutional right? And that is something that I endeavor to wrestle with. I would say housing is a constitutional right. All men are created equal and are endowed by their creator to certain unalienable rights, and amongst them, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I would say life is tough, liberty is hard to find, and happiness is almost impossible if you don't have a place to stay. So I do believe that we need some sort of, and I know I'm gonna sound like a socialist here now, but sorry about that. We need some control on what people can charge people living in these structures, except for the rich structures. Now y'all go out there and pay whatever you want to pay. But the question is having a place to stay a constitutional right? I would have to say I believe it is. Now you don't have to, and I ain't talking about just the project, although that is some place to stay. But I do believe even if you put people in projects, you mandate that they have a certain standard to live in those places. Just because you live in a project doesn't mean that you got to live like thugs and bugs. Okay, it doesn't mean that. Right now I can handle a project, but it ain't how you live. It ain't where you live. It's how you live. Okay. Because there's no reason in the world that if you live in the projects, on the inside of your house shouldn't look like you live in Wind Lakes. Okay? There's no reason in the world why, if you on the outside it looks like everybody else's, but on the inside, the place where you live, it should look like anybody's house out in Wind Lake. Okay, so we don't have the big 85-inch TVs we can put on the wall, nothing like that. But we can have a little TV on there. We can watch a little football on the weekend. So the question is, her thinking is that her name is C. Weaver, a top housing advisor for New York Mayor Mandami, says the idea of owning your home the way people always have is outdated. She says that we we have treated property as something personal. Well, if you got to pay for it, it is personal. If you got to pay for it, it is personal. Don't have a gun, but it's sometimes it's. I hear you. I hear you, brother. Okay, what does this say? Fix healthcare and put 2,500 in every family's pocket. Yeah, I'm with that one too. Yeah, at least. I mean, I'm with that. Why, other than the bigot Don Laurie, will embrace the KKK? I don't know. I thought Obamacare fixed healthcare. Well, that's a lie they told us. Okay. Anytime government gets involved in anything, it messes it up. I can't think. The only couple things that the government does well, that's the military and the mail. But outside of those two, I really can't think of anything that the government does well. Okay. And education is certainly something they do terribly at. Okay. Now, what I heard last night, and I don't have to get Dr. Z on this because I'm not sure. And this goes back to where is my understanding. Now, it could be wrong, so I'll have to ask Dr. Z this. My understanding is that we're not allowed to flunk people in Montgomery Public Schools now. Okay. So again, this is what somebody told me the other day. I don't know if it's true, but if you show up for school, you get a 53. So you at least get a D or whatever for showing up. But we're not allowed. Now I'll have to call them because I don't know if this is true or not. They got some program called MTE or some program where they cannot flunk. So why not just send them a if this is true? Why not just send them a diploma in the mail? Let them stay home. Why even come to school? Okay. So I don't know. And so are you against? Of course, I'm not against private property if you own it. But the problem is, and I've always asked the question, Dr. Joe, how can you own something that was here before you? Truly, I believe the government should split the land. Should assign the land, but the government always maintains ownership of it because they can always charge you taxes on it. Okay, is 53 equal to F? Well, then so why go? why go? Okay, doesn't F mean flunk? I mean, doesn't it mean you're done? I mean, so I don't know, but anyway, so I don't quite understand that 53 thing, but I'll have to find out if it's absolutely true or if it's wrong. I'll find out because if that's the case. Cannot flunk. No wonder grades are improving. So let's give them a 60 or something. I don't know. And it's not enough just to teach the subject, to teach the answer. We've got to let these kids start figuring out the answer. It's not enough to know that a gun will kill you. We have to know why the gun can kill you to get a better understanding. Supremacy clause does not shield federal agents from state criminal acts. And I mean, again, Joe, let me ask you a question, Joe, my man, let me ask you a question. If the police stop you on the streets of Montgomery and they say, stay right there, and you go to take off, what can happen? Come on, Joe. Where you at, Joe? What can happen? Especially if there's a police officer standing in front of that car. What can happen? I'll wait a couple seconds here till you get the chance to answer that. They can chase you. If that car is headed toward that officer, they can not only chase you, they can bring bodily harm to you. Okay? So let's be intellectually honest there, Mr. Lawyer. They can bring bodily harm to you. Okay? Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. But again, right, but if the police say stop, aren't you supposed to stop? Right. But again, they put the guy's life in danger by keeping the vehicle moving. Yeah. Okay. But I got you. It'll all come out in the court. But logic and reason tells me that when the police says stop, you stop. You don't and say well it depends on the fact. Well, everything depends on the facts. Everything depends on the facts. But I'm telling you, if the police say that is a lawful order, stop. Oh crap! I forgot to put the thing back on again. My bad. I keep forgetting to put that back on when I get somebody off the phone. Okay, let me see. Go back here. That way. Well, he would pretty much repeat the same thing anyway, so no big deal. Uh, okay, now I got my sound going back again. But basically, he was saying that he didn't think that the call that the Marley said that he didn't think that the shooting was justified. I don't know. If a police tell you to stop, isn't that a lawful order? I mean, isn't that a lawful order? Here's my lawyer buddy right here. Okay, give it to me. Give it to me. Joe.
Can't what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got to be clear about your questions. You just said, can a police officer, what can they do if you take off running? I'm like, well, they can chase you.
But if you're in a car and you're headed toward them and you're on foot, that's not putting their life in danger?
I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it's a very fine line in that. Okay. It's always fact specific. I think you work backwards, which is when can deadly force be employed? And that's what training, that's why city police officers are better to deal with these situations than the ICE office, because they understand those nuances of policing. Okay. So you have a car pulled over. Okay. Car pulled over. You got one officer, let's say one officer at the window, nobody's in front of the car when the car is pulled over. You're looking at the officer. Okay. You don't see the officer in front of the car. You pull off. The officer shoots you in the wind, shoots you there. The officer also has a duty, okay, to avoid that if you can. Get the F out of the way if you can do it, okay? But it's another thing now. It's a whole other ball game. When someone is directing the vehicle at the officer to do something, that's why it's specific, okay? It's one thing. I have seen video and I've seen cases where people have taken cars and they are trying to run down the officers versus someone who's simply trying to get away. Okay.
But if in getting away, you put that officer's life in danger or safety in danger, that just you might as well be running toward him.
Well, I think it goes to intent, and that's why I said fact specific, and that's why we have trials. The first order of business, Kevin, in anything is that it is illegal to kill people. So understand that. That's not lawful. Okay? That's illegal. Now, there are justifiable homicides, but those are defenses. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That comes after. So this is justifiable self-defense, which is what this officer is going to claim, because that's all he can claim. So everybody knows that. Every lawyer knows that. That's going to be self-defense. And what he will say is he thought he was in fear of bodily harm and his life was in danger. He'll say the mantra, which the buzzwords that the courts have said you pretty much need to say. So he'll repeat that, which is what Kristi Noem is doing for him. Okay. So he'll say that. Except you got a video. And one thing about the video that I saw was, one, when she's there, he's not immediately in front of the car. When that officer comes, when the officer comes to try to open that door and pull on that car, her attention is there. He now jumps in front of the car. So she wasn't driving the car and aiming it to him. She was parked and he got in front of it. At the most, she's guilty of negligence. Okay, at the most, by simply not looking before she pulled off. If that were a traffic accident, that were you or me standing in front and we got hit, nobody would charge her with intentionally doing that. It'd be more negligence than anything else, given what those facts are. Okay, but while the officer is trying to pull and get in her vehicle, the officer who was in front of the car, look real closely. He draws his weapon before she ever moves. And that's a bang bang play, but he draws his weapon. And when she pulls off, he doesn't jump out of the way, which he could easily do to avoid it, because you have a duty to avoid it now too. All right? You got a duty to get out of the way.
Yeah, let me,
all right?
Hold on a sec. Gary, can you hear us now? I thought I got this thing. Let me know if you can hear. Can you guys hear Joe? He's making some legal point, but
it's all making sense.
Logic and reason tells me that if you point a car toward an officer, you're gonna get dealt with.
But she didn't point it. Hear what I'm saying? The car was blocking traffic. It wasn't pointed towards him. He jumped in front of it. That's different, Kevin. Come on now.
And she was wrong.
Come on now.
For trying to use the car to impede the work of.
Agree. I agree with you. I agree with you about that. I agree with you about that. She's blocking traffic. Yeah, you can't do that. Okay? You can't do that. She needs a ticket for that. But that's a ticket. Okay? That's not the death penalty.
Well,
she's wrong for blocking traffic.
I think we got to get all of the videos in one place, because I've seen a few of them, and I saw an officer get booted with the car off to the right side of the car because he was trying to hang on. So,
there was a guy who said, right? He's hanging on to the side, but keep in mind, he reaches in there, and that's a different ball game.
I ain't talking about the guy on the side. I'm talking. This was in front of the car. I'm not talking about the guy.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I ain't seen nothing near that. The video that I'm seeing is the one that's being played in 90% of the places, which show her blocking the ICE agents, which you can't do.
That's because they all
and we know.
They're all Democrats.
Huh?
I
don't know what their political persuasion is, but you can't. If they are Democrats, they still can't do it now. So you can't do that. You can't block that. You can't block them from doing their jobs. You cannot do that. That is wrong. You cannot do it now. When this officer has her attention, that's why it's going to be factor specific, and she's looking left, and no one's in front of the car, and then someone jumps in front of the car that you don't see. So I'm looking at the guy trying to pull me out of the car, and I had the gas pull it off.
I will admit to you, I don't know why we could not use non-lethal force.
Lethal force
in that situation.
Get out of the way, get her tagged, and go get her later on.
I mean, they
tell you to do that all the time. You don't do that
because
that's not. She's not a fleeing felon.
But
okay.
Well, I don't know. That's
not a felony. That's a traffic accident. It's traffic. That's a traffic citation. She's not a fleeing felon. That's not a felonious offense.
Okay.
Well, okay. Blocking traffic is not felonious.
I'm talking about taking off. When she took off, that was not.
Let's hypothesize this. Okay. Because we're in some gray areas. But let's say that there was probable cause at that point to arrest her for obstructing governmental operations, which is what they would have done, which is what she was doing. Okay. And the federal version of that's still a misdemeanor. Okay. That's a misdemeanor. And you don't employ deadly force over misdemeanors. That's why people don't shoot you for shoplifting in Walmart.
Well, normally, I get you. It did bother me that because when I heard the popping sound, I said, that can't be a gun.
But a gun 3 times in that windshield. But Kevin, look at the video. When he gets in front of the car, he immediately draws his weapon.
Well, this woman,
he is unholstered and he's pulled it out.
Right.
She had moved.
Yeah, this woman evidently had been following them around. So
that's fine.
So
and
you don't know.
They're on a public street.
Going to do. You don't know what people are going to do.
Yeah, listen. Well, she had been following them around, and nothing had. happened, then we probably already know what she was going to do. Okay? Now, it's one thing going to roll up, but if she's been following around, that's fine. That doesn't justify that. It simply doesn't. And people, and people, you know, like I said, now this is going to be a close call, because there are times, okay, there are times where cars, you know, certainly when you try to run over an officer, yeah, they're going to be able to do that. Okay, so this is going to be close. This is going to be very. This is going to be fact specific. I'm glad we got video so you can see it broken down as how this thing went down, because police officers are notorious for saying things that simply didn't occur and telling a story, particularly when somebody is dead. They love to do that. I don't call it testifying. I call it testifying. And they do it often because judges often believe them. Okay, they just simply believe the officers, but they do it too often. But this is a video, so you can see what was going on.
Yeah.
Now, did he have a reasonable? Now, of course, it's a subjective test. I got to look at Minnesota law. I haven't looked at Minnesota law on that, but I imagine, like I said, self-defense are jury questions. Okay,
now,
so that's why.
Well, let me ask you another question. The governor of Minnesota said they're going to call it the National Guard. Doesn't ICE have superior? Aren't they supreme? Aren't they over their authority higher than the National Guard?
No.
In the city,
I would say no, but I think
in the state of
no. I don't think it's an authority thing. I think. Let me tell you what can happen. Let me explain it this way. They have different roles. Okay, they have different roles. I think Walter's position to bring on the National Guard is not to influence ICE. I don't think that's what he's doing. I think what he's thinking of are riots. Okay, I think that's what he's thinking. He's not thinking riots because, look, the fact of the matter is that federal agents can enforce federal law.
Yeah, but I think he threatened ICE. That's what he was doing.
I don't think that to say I'm activating the National Guard. He didn't say anything else. He didn't say anything else. And when you got protesters out there on the street, I think it's more likely that's where that's going.
He might be stupid, but he's not totally.
Well, he's not. Well, let me tell you what he's not. He's not. Let me say, Walsh is not stupid. Walsh is not a grandstander. Walsh is not trying to pick a fight with federal agents. That's not what he's doing.
I think he is.
I guarantee that's not who he is. Okay. All right. He's not. What I'm saying is he's not going to try to introduce National Guard troops into a federal fray where something more can happen.
Well,
he's not going to do that.
I would hope.
This is crowd control.
Remember the Babbitt woman in
I surely do.
So were they right in shooting her?
Oh, 100%. I think 100%.
She had no weapon. She had no weapon.
I think 100%. You're talking about again, fact specific.
So what's the
different thing
of that?
I'm going to tell you. You got first of all, you're in a place where you got no right to be. You're in a stationary. His job is protect the Capitol and protect the people therein. Now you got a mob that has broken in. All right, the Capitol. That's a felon. That's a breaking in and entering. They got no authority, no reason to be there.
He shoots the one with no weapon.
When I say this, yes. Now whether he knew she did or didn't, I don't know what people were saying because people did have weapons out there. But when you get a mob, you're going to get that. That can be interpreted a whole bunch of different ways because we're in a different circumstance here. This is not where the officers are going where the crowd is and engaging the crowd. These people are not supposed to be, and there's a genuine threat to the bodily safety. People got gallows out there saying, "Hang Mike Pence, kill Mike Pence." You got a mob, you're going to get it. You're going to get it, and this is a mob of thousands of people. This ain't one soccer mom in an SUV surrounded by 10 cops. This is not that. This is a mob. So you got different facts here.
Well, again, like I said, I didn't like the fact that he shot that vet. I understood it from a clinical standpoint that he's there to protect.
He's not trained, and Kristi Noem is a certified fool. Okay, she is dumb. She's a certified fool. Yeah. Okay, and her trying to say that this, and her trying to say that this is some domestic terrorism, that is oversexing inflammatory language or something. And it ain't. It's not that.
Wait a minute.
That's not domestic terrorism.
Wait a minute. A lot of police in every state add charges on you that had nothing to do with the actual event. If they stop.
I agree with that.
Okay, so she didn't come up with that with this. Somebody else did. So let's
no, she didn't come with the word domestic terrorism. No, she's just inappropriately used. It's not a terroristic act. There's no terrorism here. That's just blocking the highway. I mean, that's Christy was a fool, and she's been a fool, and she's no more competent to be Secretary of Homeland Security than that idiot Secretary of Defense. We got the white beaten drunk who keeps sending classified information over his WhatsApp chat to tell people, look what I'm doing today, like a goofy frat boy. But she's stupid. Okay. But she's wrong. And so Don was saying, well, does the Supremacy Clause cover that? No, the Supremacy Clause covers where state law and federal law conflict. Okay. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So it supersedes everything. All right. So that's the first thing. The Supremacy Clause, where federal law and state law conflict, then federal law is supreme. That's the Supremacy Clause. Okay. Now, this is not a case where the Supremacy Clause is in effect, because murder is not a federal crime. It's a state crime. Okay. And you still have the sovereign power of the state of Minnesota dealing with actions within its borders by even a federal agent. Because the federal agent, he's not allowed to mistreat you. Now, you can go after him under 1983, which I imagine somebody's going to do it. That's coming. Okay? But the state has an obligation. And I think when they finish looking at this video, I think he's going to be charged.
I don't think so.
Now, whether he's convicted, I don't know that.
Yeah. I think he's going to be charged. From the video I saw, and I'm going to find it today somewhere. I have this guy was trying to hang on to the car in front, and she kept on going. So I don't see that anywhere, Kevin, where someone's hanging onto the front of the vehicle and she keeps going. Yeah, but I showed you a few minutes.
But the next question is going to be, the next question is going to be, let's hypothesize it for 1 second, okay? Why doesn't the officer simply let go? You see what I'm saying? See, at some point, we all have to be responsible and accountable for our actions too. Even in law enforcement, there's a Supreme Court case out there that says officers can choose to disengage if they want to. They don't have to go in. They don't have to engage themselves into every fray that occurs. Okay, they got to use some judgment too.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying about this officer, with these folks drawing, he had no reason to draw his weapon.
Well,
she's dead because he drew his weapon and he fired. He could have easily gotten out of the way.
But she did because she didn't get out the car when they asked her to.
Says fine. I agree. She didn't. They asked her. She did not do that, and we can argue whether she had the legal right to refuse that or not. That's another argument. What I'm saying is that this officer, who's not trained in day-to-day police work, okay, he's clearly trained in intimidation tactics more than policing, okay, and this is why you don't put troops. This is the very reason you don't put troops in American cities. We're not equipped to police our own.
Yeah,
we're not equipped for this.
No, I agree with that.
And this is the judgment. This is the judgment of our elected officials. And judgment is important. And who makes these decisions? Who gives these orders? Who puts these things in action? Because once these things get put in action, put in play, okay, once these things happen, then
but the fact of the matter
a lot of things pop up here.
But the fact of the matter is, you don't send the 82nd Airborne to give out plate lunches to anybody. When the 82nd Airborne comes, somebody's getting an ass.
No, we send the 82nd Airborne in for the Nazi Germany.
Yeah, right. But
for Russians invading America, that's what we do. Not to go round up people who've overstayed visas, who snuck in the country illegally.
But 82nd Airborne does not belong there. But since they are there, their job to do one thing, and that's take care of the crisis at hand. Not to worry about the.
Well, but you got to know how to do it, Kevin.
Yeah. Well,
I don't disagree, but you got to you first of all, you need to understand the crisis, understand the legality of what you can and cannot do. Okay, what you can and can't do. Which the 82nd Airborne is not going to know municipal law. They're not trained. They're not trained. They're not trained for that. Like this ICE agent doesn't even know what he can and can't do under Minnesota law. Because he's what? He's not a city. He's not a municipal agent. He's not a state agent. He's a federal agent. So he only knows what he's trained. And so when I see someone like Kristi Noem, who's already trotting out where he did his training, I already know he's wrong. Because she's setting up a defense. In the defense of the government, when police officers violate your constitutional rights, they always try to go in his training. You know, when Greg Gunn was killed, you know, oh, it was a training. You're not trained to do that. And training doesn't justify anything. You may be trained wrongly. But that's no defense. And she's already trying to trot out a defense, which is he relied on his training. That's not a defense. Self-defense is a defense, but not what she's talking about. So this is going to be problematic. Now, again, I don't know which way it's going to go, but what I believe is that he's going to be charged. I don't see how that's, now the feds aren't going to do anything about it because we know who runs the government. So that's not going to happen.
Well, okay.
But we know, but the state, the federal government is run by Donald Trump. He has co-opted the Injustice Department. And so these folks are not independent. They do what he tells them to do. And so they are not going to do anything. Okay? They're not going to do anything. It means zero, not a zilch. Whatever comes out of this is going to come from the state. But Donald Trump will have no impact on how the state of Minnesota handles its business. That's up to the Attorney General and Governor Walz to deal with that. And they may present it to a grand jury, and a grand jury may agree and say, we don't think so. They may not indict him. But I think, I think this cuts, at least on the video that I saw. Everyone's going to see this video, but I think it cuts on. She does not. In other words, we don't have agents in the street where she's taking her car trying to ram them like the guy did in Virginia some years ago. We're not talking about someone targeting agents with their vehicle, which shows the intent to do these things and how they respond with deadly force. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a woman who's blocking the path and somebody comes from out of her blind spot and gets in front of her car.
All right. Hey, okay. Appreciate it. Let's come on again next week. Yes. I'm there losing. Okay. Anyway, I got to play this thing one more time because I'm just not, there are many videos of this that is out there. And I do think that the governor was trying to intimidate the federal government, talking about we're going to bring out the National Guard. The weekend warrior is going to come out. I used to be one of those. All right, man, I got about a minute, then I got to run.
Hey, speaking of certified fools, where's Stephen Reed today? Hey, well, how would the police in Montgomery feel when you got the brother of the mayor talking about police testifying? What a piece of crap the Reeds are. The guy, they were trying to pull the woman out of the car. The guy was standing in front of. He pulls his gun when she. In fact, I thought he was Wild Bill Hiccup. How fast he pulled it, but she started toward it. The shot went straight through the window. It didn't come from the side, and he was hit by the car. Now, what we could do is we could have a little test. Why don't Joe Reed get in front of my car and see how fast his ass can jump out in front of it?
I hear you. Gotta run. But I don't. Let me see if I can look at this one more time and see what we can see. One more again. Okay. Well, let's see which one I'm looking for. That's the one I'm looking for right there. That's the one I'm looking for right there. Let me see if I can. If we can try this one more time. Okay. Let me see.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
You gotta get up, bro. Get up the car.
What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck?
Well, it's sad no matter what happened, but
dude, you did a murder for what?
Well, again, when they tell you to get out the car, and you need to get out the car. Then she takes off. And that's when the guy right there, that's the guy who's coming up to the car, of course, and tell her to get out the car. And she doesn't want to. Of course, I don't like the fact that they're cussing people out all the time. But now she takes off. Now, I don't know if the police know what her intentions are at this particular moment or not. But I will say.
What the fuck? Dude!
I do believe this guy here was actually hanging on to the front until she started going. Anyway, now, if I have any criticism.
What the fuck?
Okay, I got you, brother.
Dude, what the fuck?
Why all that cussing going on, I don't know. You don't make it. But I will say one thing. Deadly force, I don't think was necessary at that moment. I don't believe so. They could have used a taser or something. Of course, then again, had they used a taser, she may have taken the car and go there. I don't know. I'm not a policeman. I don't know. But I do know that these people have a right to defend themselves too. But there's another video, and I'm going to see if I can find it there, that shows you the police officer actually being thrown off the car, and she kept on going. Anyway, my time's up. But this is going to be talked about for a while in America. And did they use too much force in this case? That's going to be for the people in Minnesota. Because if they charge him with murder, it's a state crime. I do believe, if I have one little small criticism of ICE on this one, I think we were too quick. I think we were too quick to use deadly force. But whether or not deadly force was appropriate, well, if they thought their life was in danger, it's like anything. It's like stand your ground, isn't it? Isn't that what stand your ground is all about? If you think your life is in danger, you can use deadly force. So I don't know. Anyway, time's up. Wow, what an interesting show. Let me give you the lessons of life today before we get to anything, and that would be, what's the lesson of life today? I know I got it up here. I got it up here somewhere. Oh, get rid of that screen right quick. Okay, stop that screen right quick. And I haven't given you guys a lesson of life today, so that's what I'm fitting to do right now, and it's a very important lesson of life, as a matter of fact. And that would be, where is it at? There it is right there. Now, this is one of them thinking lessons of life. This is one of them thinking ones. You're going to have to think about this for a minute. But once you think about it, you'll understand it. All yesterdays were at one time tomorrows that turned into today. So be a blessing to someone before your today turns into yesterday that once was tomorrow. Time is limited. You don't get a do-over. You don't get it back. So do the best you can with what you got. It is a resource that once it is gone, there's no getting it back. Just remember, all your yesterdays were at one time tomorrows that turned into today. Time does fly. Good morning to you. Have a great day. We're probably talking about this all weekend long to next week about this shooting. I'm gonna see if I can find the one video that shows that the guy hanging on to the hood. Okay, so we'll be back next week. The good Lord says the same. And remember this. Always remember this one. Remember this, that the strength does not come from falling down. It comes from getting up each and every time you do. So all I can tell you is that keep getting up. Falling ain't the problem. It's laying down there. That's the problem. Keep getting up. keep getting stronger. See you later. Have a great day. Our country needs prayer. Montgomery needs prayer. We all need some prayer. We better put an extra helping on that this weekend in church. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Like you do most days. Tell somebody about the show. At least it's not boring. See you later. Oh, we will replay this at about 12 o'clock. So if you missed anything, you'll get it at 12. We'll start again at 12 o'clock this afternoon. All right.
Through valleys deep and mountains high, your face